Welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
And Beth?
I'm Eve.
Beth is hidden by Eve's amazing finished object talent. Look at that thing.
That is Stitching with the Housewives, and I don't remember what the name of the chart is.
That's really cute.
It's What's in My Cup, I think. It's one of those What's in My Cup things.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the finish, though. It's so cute. Little wooden pumpkin.
Yeah.
Oh,
is that one of the ones from Target or
So
something?
I watched part of the Stitching with the Housewives video this morning, and Priscilla had given Chelsea a gingerbread man, okay? It was a charcuterie board gingerbread man.
Oh, cute.
It was about this big.
Oh, my God.
I was like, oh, I need that. I need to go to Walmart.
Cute.
Yeah.
They're doing Walmart's advertising for them.
Well, they always do Hobby Lobbies and Michael's.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying.
I saw.
It's great, though, that it's like, stuff that you can access as well.
I once told the manager at Michael's, because I was looking for something that she had used. I think those legs. I still haven't put away some of the Halloween, which will come about in stories. I was looking for something, and I found like the last two or something like that. And the manager happened to be up there, and I said, you really should have somebody watching that show to see what's on sale, because you will sell out.
I just saw a post by Von Pfeiffer that...
we should probably move this so you can see Beth when she's talking.
If you leave this flat.
That...
How's that?
That's better. That's better. It's crooked, but it's better.
She found it at Hobby Lobby, those little sleds that a lot of people use for finishing ornaments.
Uh-huh.
They're little miniature sleds, and they have a wooden thing, and so you can put a little design on there, a little Christmas design on there, and hang them as ornaments. But they're she said she found a whole bunch of them at Hobby Lobby now with all their Christmas stuff. So yeah.
Well, the first thing I'm going to go first, but before I go on my stuff, I'm going to talk about the Etsy shop. So, Eve was a busy little bee, and she made all of these.
I didn't do as much sewing as I wanted.
All of these scissor fobs, which, if you're new to us, I keep dropping them. If you're new to us, they are like a leash for your scissors. And I am woefully devoid of scissor fobs. I do have a couple, but they're in different projects. So I'm going to put pictures here of all of these. The most notable one is we're having an argument. This is the giraffe that we showed a few weeks ago.
Beth thinks it's a war giraffe.
She thinks it's a war giraffe. I think it's a space giraffe.
It looks like, to me, if you look very closely at it, it looks like how knights would put armor on their horses.
I guess.
And see the little visors up, and then you would close the visor down as you rode into battle on your war giraffe.
Well, it's a very strange giraffe. Anyway, we have a couple of space-themed things. We've got Christmas kitties.
So those
this little alien guy.
Those little guys. I don't think it's an alien. I think it's an astronaut.
No. Yeah. But still.
When I was making those, and I used those nuggets because I was like, those look like asteroids. The whole time I'm working on those, that song is going through my head. Fly me to the moon.
Yeah.
Let me see fun stars. Yeah. So.
And then some really cute Christmas. Here's one with a little Scotty dog. That's really adorable. Little candy cane beads. Very, very cute. So those will be going to the Etsy shop, and we have another alien needle minder also available. And I'm gonna put these over here. And then you haven't finished with the bag for this yet.
No.
So this won't be on yet until
it'll be part
project
stories.
bag will be available. So I'm going to pass this back to Eve. But this is that cute postcard fabric. It's adorable.
I did not get as much done as I wanted to.
But this one is going up. look at this. Remember,
Oh, and this
was in-
has a little snowflake
Yeah.
charm.
This was in pieces last week, and it's got a beautiful little Christmas tree charm on it, and this one has candy cane charms. I think the charms are like worth the price of the whole bag. Like, to me, those little charms are like so cute that it makes it just really special. So this one will be on sale on the Etsy shop. Sorry, my Cokes, or Beth's Cokes in the way. So Notions bag and project bag set. And you said there's a sale going on right now?
Yes. Right now, no, I think it ends on Sunday. So on Monday, the new one will start. Right now, up until midnight on Sunday, it's 25% off of
Was it
$35?
$35 or more, I think.
Yeah.
But the next day, it's 15% off of 3 or more items. I figured if somebody wanted to get stocking stuffers of like needle minders or something, you know.
Yeah. So the sale that we have currently is ending the day this video airs. So you have until midnight if you want that deal. And then on Monday, it'll be 15% off of 3 items or more. So, like, for instance, if I wanted to buy this and a needle minder and a scissor fob, that would be considered 3 items.
Right. Right. The bag set and
The bag
needle
set is
minder
one.
and
So
then-
this is one item,
yeah.
which is nice. I think that's really nice.
Yes.
Here's that. I'm going to send that back to you, Eva.
Oh, you could put it over there on that.
No, you could put it over there. I'll just put it here in my junk. It's fine. Okay, so I'm going first. I talked about this fabric last week because I'm like, I want to make myself a coat. And then when we were talking, I'm like, maybe I really need 6 colors. So last week I had these 5. I had the red.
It's
Oh.
making me nervous.
The red poinsettias, this green pine, blue pine cones, silver pine cones, and then this black with pine and holly and white snowflakes. And I'm like, I think I need a 6th fabric to do the. I was talking about the 3 dudes quilting, and I was even wrong there because it's actually 4 strips. I was like, I had to put it on the thing.
I thought you were going to say 4 dudes quilting.
No, it was 4 strips. So anyway, I went back to, actually right after we recorded, I went back to Joann's and I found this, which is really beautiful, which kind of pulls in this blue, and it's another light white. So I thought it'd be nice for contrast. Now, then I was thinking, and I thought, you know, my favorite quilt block is called Storm at Sea. And so I thought it would be really cool to make a Storm at Sea patterned jacket. And then I'm like, now maybe this is the wrong thing, all these, because really I was looking at I'll put a picture here of a screenshot of the paper piecing Storm at Sea pattern that I used. I went to their website, downloaded the paper, and basically you sew the fabric. You cut the shapes, basic shapes, and then you sew it to the paper and you trim it as you go, and it creates a block. It's very easy. And what's cool about it is that it's all made with rectangles and diamonds and triangles, but when you put it all together, it looks like curved lines. It's like an optical illusion. It's really cool, and I've always loved it, and I thought, oh, that would be perfect. But for that, you kind of need, like, so I'm making some blocks for a quilt that I have, like, I'll get done when I'm 90. But, and so I just bought yardage. I didn't buy pre-cuts or anything. And that, I just have, so you'll see in the pattern there's like 4 colors. There's a white contrast, and then I think that pattern has like 3 different reds. So 3 different similar toned fabrics that then you turn into these blocks, and so I think that the light and dark contrast is what is necessary to really pop that optical illusion. So now I'm kind of regretting. Now I got these for a really good deal because they were on sale, and I can certainly use them. But I'm kind of thinking I might need to go a different direction. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some paper and kind of sketch out with like markers or crayons. Like if I used these colors in a particular ways, if it would come out that way. Yeah. And I think that if I remember right, the paper piecing document has a schematic that you can color in, if I remember right. So I need to go back and dig that out.
So if the colors you have, which is what, 5 colors now?
6 now. 6 colors.
Won't work for that pattern because you want to use 6 colors. There's other patterns you could use.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I mean, I'll use this fabric eventually if I don't use it for the coat. But I'm trying to think, because I'm like, now I'm like really obsessed. Like, I think a Storm at Sea coat would be very cool. But I might have to make a small version because they came out with a new video where you can make it in the big version, which gives you like a block this size. And for a quilt, a block that size, you would be able to see the illusion. But now that I'm sitting here talking it through, you guys are so helpful to me. I'm thinking that they have a miniature block size. And I'm thinking that would show on a body.
That's what I was gonna say.
A better pattern.
Would the Storm at Sea work on a jacket? Because it's a
Well, you know the houndstooth. I mean the houndstooth. The what's it called? Hunter Star worked well, especially on the back. You could really see it. But yeah. So now that I'm thinking about it, maybe smaller would be better. And then this fabric probably would go longer. You know what I mean? Would last. And I'm thinking that these two could be my contrast. The light colored contrast that provides the background for those diamonds. And I could do it with like, green and red ones and blue and black ones, with this white contrast. So I need to think it through some more. But that's okay because I have plenty of time because I'm finishing the shawl. So midweek this week, I went through and calculated how many rows I have left. And here's my progress. I'm really proud of this. Let me make sure I'm not knocking the balls of yarn off the table. It's too long now for the needles, so it's all squished up. But here, Beth, will you help me? Careful, don't pull the end off because I will cry. See, it's shoved up on the edges of the needle, so it's all wrinkled. But if we stretch out the center here, you can see the pattern emerging. This is the top of the shawl, and this will be the bottom of the shawl, but obviously that's the direction I'm working. So I calculated how many rows I had left a couple of days ago. I can't remember what day it was now. And I had 74 rows, and I calculated how many days I have left so that I can block it like the Sunday after Thanksgiving, because I'm leaving that Thursday. So if I'm done on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I can block it on Sunday and it can dry, because it's going to take several days for it to dry, right? Especially because it's not roasting hot summer. In the summer, your blocked items dry in a day. In this time of year, it'd probably be a little longer. But anyway, so I calculated it out.
I was looking at the low for... since this past couple of days when it got colder, the low was like 59, and I was like, no wonder I was cold.
Yeah, it's getting cold here.
And I was huddling under my blanket, holding my cat.
Right. But I was like, so I'm gonna need to block it probably by Sunday so that it's completely dry and ready to fold up and take with me. So with that, I calculated I need to do 5 rows a day, approximately. And that was a few days ago, and I haven't met my goal. But I figured there'll be some days when I'll be able to do a lot more. So, and what's hard is that I'm in a portion where it's a graph now, and I'm working from a graph. So the first right side row. So what you do in this type of mosaic knitting. So in this one here, it's called broken seed stitch, is mosaic knitting, but you knit across with the black, and then you slide the needles, slide the work back to the other side, and then you knit across with the white, and then you turn it over, so you don't turn it, and then you turn it to the wrong side, and you knit across with the black, and then you slide it over, and you knit across the same direction with the white, and that's this type of mosaic knitting. But up here in this pattern, or even like these black and white areas here, the way you do it is you knit across with black, slipping some stitches that were white from the row below. Then you turn the work and you knit across the other direction, basically knitting what you've knit black and slipping what you slipped white on the right side row. So you do 2 rows for every line. So the way back is easy because you've already established what's slipped and what's knit, right? So you're just working as it comes. But the right side row out, you have to really read the chart and make sure you're doing it right, and make sure, like, so what I do is I knit that right side row, and I go and I check all the repeats. Like, did I do everything right? And either if I have to rip back, I do, or if I, like, sometimes when I slip a stitch, I get the yarn on the wrong side, and that's easy to fix on the return pass. But anyway, so it's been a little bit slow, but I'm really proud of how far I've come, because I think last week I was somewhere in the sea of this area. I don't know, had I done this red line last week?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't listen to you.
I know. You don't pay attention.
No, I don't remember, because it's all so intertwined.
Yeah, yeah. I'd have to go back and look at pictures, but it's really coming along, and I really like it. Pro tip: if you have a project like this with so many stitches, like this is 300 and upwards of 40 right now. What I did was, so it grows on every right side row on this corner right here. So how do you count your stitches, right? You can't count out 100 and put a marker from one end, because this is going to keep growing. So what I did was, it's an uneven number because it has a center stitch. So I put 2 stitch markers right here on either side of the center stitch. And then I counted out, I think I counted out 50 on this side and 50 on that side. So that's 101. And then from this 50 mark, I counted out to 100, which is here, this stitch marker. And I did the same thing on the other side. Actually, I think I did another set of 50 here because I was tired. Anyway, so that's my 301 stitches from this stitch marker to this stitch marker. And then these grow on the side, so I can always stop and check when they give me a count. I can always stop and check and make sure, because I just count these stitches and double it, and that gives me my whole stitch count. So, pro tip: count from the middle. If you have that because I started to think, how am I going to keep track? I don't want to count 350 stitches every time, but I know that from here to here is 351, and nothing changes in between. I mean, 301, and nothing changes between those two. Because there's no increases along this route, so they're only on the outside. So that's your Christmas present from me, for the next time you're knitting something giant. And that's all I've been working on, literally. And I wanted to go first because it's impossible for me to show this in the middle of a stitch, because it turns into a little tube.
Why don't you go next, Beth?
Okay. Let me just anchor this thread.
Since I went first twice in a row.
Yeah, we know how you are.
Just a second. Okay. Let me start with this. This was my number 3 WIP. And I said I was working down here. This is the Peacock. The designer is Nicola Gregory for Design Works. It was a little kit. Came with the kit Ada and all the colors, and I dyed the white Ada like this purpley pinky color. And I had started in the middle, I guess, and worked down and was working on all these the feathers, you know, the eyes of the feathers. And this is the one where I spent the whole day putting a whole skein length in the wrong color.
Oh, the wrong color,
and I
right.
took them all out and put it all back in the right color. So, but I was kind of like tired of like the, you know, you couldn't tell what it was doing all these feathers, and they look really nice, and I'm very close to finishing several of them.
Is it feathers or flowers?
It's feathers. It's the tail feathers of the peacock.
The flowers are the feathers.
But they're shaped like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I see the feathers turn into flowers.
Yeah.
It's like a morphing type of thing here.
So I wanted to work my way up and do the actual peacock body, so you could tell what it was besides just being, you know, a bunch of amorphous circles. So I did work. The problem is, like, there's an area in here where the easiest way to get to it, so you're not having to count across giant spaces, is to do white. And I'm actually glad that I dyed this fabric, because if I had been stitching this white on white fabric,
You would have died.
you would have gone blind, and you wouldn't have been able to see it until you put other colors around it or whatever. And as it is, you can barely see it, you know, without the blues and purples and stuff that go around it. But I used that to get up to these other colors. And these are still, I did get, the only brown in this design is the peacock's feet right here, foot. Right here.
Oh.
And actually there's one brown stitch that's up here, and I'm thinking, is it really brown, or is it a mistake in the pattern or whatever? Because it seems totally out of the blue, because when you look at the picture, you know, it's kind of hard, you really don't see the other leg, but there's like one little brown right up in here somewhere. And I'm like, is it really brown, really? So yeah, I haven't decided on that yet, but because I had missed it when I was stitching, I had missed that one brown square, and actually there's one other square somewhere that I had missed. But yeah, I did a lot of these sort of tealy colors and greens and stuff, so that I could get the general shape of the peacock. And up here, I think there's like some white stitches up here to like where his eye is or whatever in this little area. And then a lot of the shape of the head is defined by back stitching. And then there's his little crown goes up here somewhere. So, but yeah, so I was happy to do the body of the peacock, just to do something else.
Do something different.
Yeah, and to use that that greenish yellow green color that's here on the peacock's chest, because I don't think it appears anywhere else in the lower part, except maybe I think. Yeah, no, I don't think it does. I don't think it appears anywhere down here, except maybe right there somewhere. I don't know.
Right here.
But yeah, there's a couple of little green things area, but you know. So that was fun, and I actually did a couple of days extra just to get up there in that area. So that is done for now. And then the other one I had was, and I don't, yeah, there it is, was this on the balcony that Eve did from a picture I took. And, you know, I decided that I kind of like and hate it at the same time. It's one of those cough medicine things, because it's lots of blocks of color, and, you know, and
it's going to be cool when you finish it, though.
Yeah, it's going to be really pretty when I'm finished with it. It's just that I'm going, but there's a whole sea of black on this. Yeah, it is.
It's not my fault you have black cats.
So, yeah.
100% it's your fault, Eve.
And
What am I supposed to do? Make your cat all multicolored? Well, actually, that would look really cool.
it's a good thing I don't
My
have
cats are
calico cats.
multicolored. I did you a favor.
But, So I did work for a little while on some of the black on this cat on the cat's body here, on Puck's body here, and I got kind of tired of that. So I did some of one of the colors of the stripes of the balcony fence, here, and then right now I'm
I
working
thought
on.
you were a color completist.
I am, but
I know
can't stand
it's a
the-
big cat.
Yeah, and so that's why I was doing this one turquoise color, and then I got tired of that, so I moved on to this brown color, and I actually made some executive decisions because on the pattern, this other color's in here, and I was looking at it, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's a chair.
No, but this color right here is not part
It's
of
a
the chair.
shadow.
It doesn't make any sense to me. So I
What
changed
color
it.
right where?
These little blocks right here.
It's the post that comes down and it has
Yeah.
a little ledge thing and has a shadow.
Oh,
And
I
then
see.
and then you can see the rest of the post. Anyway, she
yeah,
can make it whatever
yeah.
color she wants. I don't care.
Yeah, so it didn't look right to me, so I just changed it. And so right now I'm working on the edge of the post.
It just won't look as three-dimensional.
And yeah, so that's where I am now. And again, it's just that it's blocks of color. And I wanted to mention real quick about the needle minders on here. I had been using this one here, which is similar in shade to the teal color of the balcony. And the reason I was using this needle minder is it's one of the ones that I had made for the Etsy shop some time ago, using these little squares I found somewhere at Hobby Lobby or something. But this particular one has, I guess the way they made them is it looks like they had a clear like crystal thing, and they painted the back of it blue, and then they painted white over that when they made these. I don't know what they're for decorative things or whatever. But this particular one had paint like on the front of it, or somehow it's flawed. So I used it as a needle minder for myself. So, but then when I was going through a bunch of stuff, I was looking for that. For the stuff that I bought for that Santa thing, finishing stuff, and so while I was looking through that, I found this little clay cat head that my niece had made for me as a pin.
Oh yeah.
And the pin backing came off. I don't think the glue wasn't right or whatever.
Right. It was
so
one of those things.
yeah, so I had saved it thinking I could fix it, blah, blah, blah. And then I looked at it, I thought, that would make a really good needle minder. So I just, peeled there was like some residue from the glue on there, so I just peeled it off and glued it to a magnet, and so I stuck it on here. I thought it would.
Oh, she would like that. You should show
Yeah.
her.
So.
Show her that her thing broke. I think everybody's
So-
broke.
She made me an alien, so I'm going to have Beth do that.
And then the other thing I did.
I know how to glue a magnet to the back of something, but I don't. Beth does it.
So I've been, over the last couple of days, been sort of cleaning, ransacking, however you want to say it, my things, because I was looking for that Santa stuff, and I was like, there was a couple of places I thought it might be, and it wasn't there, so I don't know where it is. And so I came across these things that I had forgotten about, and they're little Christmas ornament kits is what they are, and they're I don't know, from the 90s or something probably. And these are ones that they can, these little kits, and they came with a plastic frame, and
I think
they
you got
came
those
with
right after you learned how.
maybe I don't know, this 93. The copyright is 93 on this.
Oh my gosh.
So
That sounds about right.
so it's a little cat. This one is a cat with a drum.
That's cute.
Christmas, yeah.
Oh.
And it's actually
No, he's got a wreath in his hand.
a wreath in his hand, but a drum in front of him. See his little
Oh,
drumsticks?
I see.
And
thought
so
that was
this
his
one,
pants.
this one is actually close to being finished, but I think I have this little, it's called Jolly Cat little kit. And then I have a couple others. I thought they're so close to finishing. Well, kind of, but at the same time, they're little. I don't know. I guess fussily, fiddly. I have this one, this holiday wreath little kit, and again, it came with all the threads and stuff. And this one is, the 3 candles and a wreath, and it's close to being finished, but it's a lot of little confetti, the greens in it. And this one isn't well, it is old, 2004, and I keep forgetting it's already 2023.
So it's only 20 years old.
Yeah, and this one I think is from 2007. I read. This is a Mary Englebright Busilla kit, and again, it's a little wreath with some big ornaments on it. And this one is the least progressed of the 3 of them. This is just a blob of green.
What's the picture? Oh, that wreath.
Yeah,
That seems like very intricate for such a tiny little.
Yes, it is. I think
and all the back stitching.
That's why they're not as far along as you would think. I remember when I got them, I was thinking, oh, this should be really quick or easy. Yeah, no. So I want to finish them because I think they would make cute ornaments, but.
They would make cute ornaments.
And they have, like, I said, the little plastic frames and all that. So they'd be, if you use them, they'd be easy to finish. But also you could stick them on something else.
Why don't you pick the one you like the best and finish that one, and then see if you want to finish any of the others this year. If not, you can,
And
the
other thing I came across was I have this little, in here with these, I have this little, it's a journal. That the front is it's little cardboardish, paperish, heavy paper journal, and the front is perforated, so you could put a cross-stitch design on it. And I think it came with a few different designs or whatever that you could put on there. And I think I don't know if it came with more than one of these in the little kit or whatever, but so there's some different patterns you could put on there. But I thought I could put whatever on there. I could put a Christmas pattern, an initial. I think I made something like this for Hannah with her initials on it or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, so I had all this random stuff, and I never found that sandal stuff. So, so
it doesn't always hold true that when you clean, you find treasures.
When you clean, sometimes you find stuff that.
Sometimes you find more junk.
Yeah.
Well, that's usually what I find.
And actually, that on that same theme, I got a wild hair basically yesterday, and interrupted my stitching to I have by my bed basically I have this bin, and in that bin I have cross stitch stuff in there, and I have 2 tote bags in there. One is a bunch of unstarted charts, new charts, and one is a bag of things that I've started. Like I think it was in May for Mania. I did several starts, and so I have those in there, and then just like a few random things. And I've been looking for this other pattern that I have that I know I worked on recently. Or earlier this year. I worked on it twice earlier this year, and I don't know what I did with it. I thought, well, surely it's right here. And I looked through all my stuff. I said, no, it's not there. And I recently put a bunch of things away, and I thought, well, maybe that's where I put it. I put it, and I still have. Oops, I still have the bag of slightly started patterns to look through to see if that's where I put it. And otherwise, I don't know what I did with it. I can't find it. But I have this handy little padfolio thing that I got at Family Life when I used to work there in Little Rock. And this says on it, it's stamped Mission Impossible, because that was kind of what they were calling a software changeover thing. That I thought, but that's an appropriate name, because I didn't really like this particular software. But anyway, but so that's where I got this. Several of us got these little padfolio things. But anyway, that
was our
huh?
That's our software changeover.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was kind of appropriate to this project that I have now. So what I did was I went through that bag of unfinished things, and I added to it a little bit, because on this list I have the A Year in the Woods patterns, and so some of these, like I made a little note that I'd started all of these, and a couple of them I finished. One or two I finished parts of these things, but this list is this one page and this whole page. I don't know if you can't really see because it's the writing on it, but this whole page,
Oh my gosh, Beth.
and this.
Wow.
And that's not counting all the patterns that I have in this notebook in my closet that is all unstarted charts. That the notebook is like 3 inches thick.
But it's the actual charts in there.
Yeah,
It's not a notebook this thick of a list.
No,
it's
no,
a notebook
it's in
this
yeah,
thick of
charts.
your actual charts
Yeah.
put in like sleeves or something, right?
Yes,
Something like that.
yeah.
Trying to help you look better.
But anyway, so yeah, so because one of the reasons why I wanted to do that was because the Jingle Ball is coming up, and actually it helped me a lot because Lindy Stitches, Stephanie Webb, who does Lindy Stitches, is the host of the Jingle Ball. And so I've been watching some of her videos just to make sure, that I know everything of what's going on with the Jingle Ball, and and I'm trying to find out, wanting to find out who's going to be there, blah blah blah. And so,
No.
so
Messing up. Sorry.
on one of her videos, she had talked about some of her holiday charts. And I know that I was trying to think, well, is this something new, or is this from before? And one of them I recalled from before, and it was December Down Under is the name of the chart, and it's a bunch of Australian animals, and she put them in Christmas hats and things like that. Because of course in Australia it's not wintertime, it's summertime at Christmas time, and so she has a quokka and a platypus and a kookaburra and things like that. So it's really cute. But then she also showed a chart she has called Reindeer Games, and it's a deer, and then on the back of the deer are all these other animals, and they're all wearing Christmas hats or whatever. And so I thought, well, is that something new? And then when I was going through all this list, I have both of those charts in PDFs. So I'm
gosh.
I'm like, okay, good. So I have all, so I know that I already have them, and I'm not going to buy them again.
So on those lists, have you put the ones that are in the Cross Stitch magazine?
Not yet. So
does it help you evaluate what you're not going to ever do?
Probably, yeah. I think so, because I'm some of them, it's one of those things where you look at it and you think, well, yes, I want to do that, but I don't know that I'm going to do it anytime immediately. And it also, like I have this one book called The Snowball, I think is what it's called, something, but it's a Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread thing, and it's like several smaller charts, and the cover of it says something about like the little pin keeps, so they're small. And actually, I made one of these last year for Peyton, for Rob's girlfriend, for her Christmas present, and I made it as a little ornament. It's called something like snow globe, something, but it's a little snowman in a little shape that looks like a globe thing, and I just made it into an ornament for her, and so it's a bunch of little things like that. Like there's one that's called something like photo booth fun or something like that. That's like they're like three little snapshots of a snowman family or something like that. And so they're kind of squared off like little photographs, but you could make them all in one design, like a long pillow pin keep thing, and just so little designs like that you can make, that are some are larger, some are smaller, that you can make as pin keep designs or whatever. So something like that, I'd look at it and I think, well, yes, I want to do some of those designs, but it's not like I'm burning to drop everything and stitch those. But at least it helps me to know what I already have, so that I don't buy them again, and like that. So, I'm wanting to again do an inventory and just find out what I have and what I don't have. But anyway, I think that's me. I don't think I've done anything else. Yeah. So.
Okay. So I'm putting a thread. Just a second. I spent most of my time making things for the Etsy shop. So I didn't get tons and tons and tons of cross stitch done. I'm going to take this off of here. No, I'm not. Okay. So right now,
like you're like very far.
Huh?
That way, Eve. Are you you off camera? Are you
No.
Okay?
No.
Okay.
Right now, I'm working on Stitching with the Housewives and To All a Good Night. I have not. This is one of my WIP-GO calls. I'm not taking it out of this hoop because I hate working with hoops and it's too annoying to put it back on. But I haven't gotten real far. Now, by the time you see this, I'll have taken it out and made a picture. But I'm still working on the words along the top. And, interspersed in that are snowflakes. And the snowflakes are the same color of white, so I'm going ahead and stitching those, and I'm just going to go back over them again with the sparkle thread that I'm using on other things. And somewhere in there, I made a counting error. Now, I looked at the top. I looked at the top of the D and the top of the H, and they match. So that's good. But
are they supposed to match? That's the question.
yes.
Oh, okay. You never know.
But something's off somewhere. And I decided that since these words just run along the top, unless it runs into something else, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because I had put in the middle thing for the blue dot in the middle of the snowflake, and when I went to put the one of the snowflakes in, and it's this one down here, toward the little reins,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that is not in the right spot. Or something's off somewhere. And I looked at where I had counted it from. I'm like, well, that looks like that's right. So something's wrong. But then I decided I didn't care. So, because it's a snowflake. Do we care if it's one stitch up or one stitch? No. I just took the blue out and I'll put it back in. So that is what I'm working on right now. And you saw that I finished all those scissor fobs and the bag, and I didn't finish the snowman bag. And I'll tell you why in stories, but I did finish this. This is Noelle by somebody.
Oh, that's pretty.
I told you I had to finish.
Sorry, I'm bashing into everything up here. Sorry.
I don't know who it's by.
Oh, is that the one that's hard to pronounce? The
Maybe. You'd think I'd have this marked, but of course I don't. Holly Noel by Dawn Frisk of the Mindful Needle. So, the one that's hard to pronounce is the 2023.
is the sheep thing.
No, the 2023 one.
The 2023 one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I'm gonna have that handy. Okay, so I'm done with Holly Noel, and I did add sparkle to the snowflakes because they didn't show up. And
Can I see it?
so
I pay attention to what you're working on.
Well,
You
that's
know.
cute.
So I've done a lot more work on 2023 Snowman. I have one more
This is
number.
adorable. This is
That's
adorable.
for Tim's girlfriend.
Oh, nice. That's adorable.
This is for Robert's girlfriend. So after I finish this 3, I have tons of black backstitch, and then there is Krynic silver black stitch all over it, with little stars and all that. And then I have to cut it out of this thing and round the numbers. I'm like, why did I start
What if I
this?
accidentally cut my stitching? That would be scary. Let me see that. That looks really great, Eve. I know you're suffering, but it looks
I like the
really
puffiness.
How are you gonna cut in here?
Really
Inside.
sharp scissors.
With an X-Acto knife. That's what I would do.
It says, yeah, I'm missing part of my finger because of X-Acto knife, so no thank you.
Wow, that's really beautiful.
When I was working as a graphic designer, I was using, okay, this tells you how long ago it was, right? I was using a T-square so that I could cut something to send to the...
Hi, we're
talking
back.
about-
We were interrupted by ghosts in the garage.
You're
It's
talking
actually
about cutting your finger off with an X-Acto knife.
Yeah,
No, that was earlier.
but we heard all kinds of noises and we're like, is there a monster in the garage? It was just Robert, but we didn't know.
It was a
Robert,
monster.
It was Robert taking care of business. Okay, so I have a lot more to do on this. It looks like it's getting almost done, but
Is
I
there
will
back
probably-
stitching over it? Is there
there's
back
black back stitching everywhere, and then there's silver back stitching in certain places to make like little shiny stars
Can I
and
see
stuff.
the picture?
So
Oh, I see.
I will
Wow.
probably be working on this for some time, but it hurts my hands because when I try to anchor a stitch, a thread, it's very difficult to get under the threads. So I'm considering just tying knots.
Why
But-
not? Because it says you put felt to the back.
Yeah, but I don't want bumps in the felt.
Oh, I would put bumps in the felt.
So I I haven't been able to take a picture of this one, but I will have it shown here. And it is, oh, by the way, that 2023 one is the one with the impossible to pronounce name. 2023 Snowman, designed by Anna Kobolinska of Swedenet. And I know I'm butchering that.
We're sorry.
I'm trying. And I worked for ladies with an impronounceable last name. I mean, I had to correct people all the time when we were talking on the phone to customers. And then they had a friend whose name was even worse. And he was like, "You said my name right." I'm like, "Yeah, if I hear it, it's easy for me to say it right. But if I'm reading it..."
Right.
Okay, so this one, I started a new one, Peace on Earth. And the design is by Evdokia Nikolavia. I don't know. And I can't even say that one either. Pancho.
Pinocchio?
I don't know.
Pancho?
I'll have Naomi put it down here because I am butchering that. I don't know what language, but I didn't do a very long start. I'm doing it on this sparkly, this is an Ada, it's like a gold sparkly on a tannish thing. It's really pretty. And I bought it to do the Christmas lantern by Twin Peak Primitives.
I love that.
So I know already the white is not going to show up. I know it. I am not putting sparkle on this because the sparkly with this sparkly, I think would just be too much.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's that pattern?
It's called Peace on Earth. It's this one right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I wish that I could just hold it up for you, but on the picture, well,
On the same page as the photo.
I'll have taken. No, there's another photo, but it's right on the where the the magazine comes like this, and it's right here.
No.
And there's a pattern right here.
No.
So I can't even hold it up. You wouldn't be able to see it when I hold it up because it's curled, over. So I will take a picture where you can see it. It's just magazine sheets are a little shiny and the light here makes a big glow, so I couldn't take a picture of it right here. Anyway, I really love how that looks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah. The white's not going to show up unless you're really close to it, but I figure a Christmas ornament, you're not going to,
Mm-hmm.
I might. It has a dove with peace in the middle, and I might add like a light blue or something like that to that so that it shows up better. Mm-hmm. The snowflakes, there's a whole bunch of dots, and the snowflakes. And on the Twin Peak Primitives one, I did not do the dots in that one.
Yeah, you didn't do the dots.
So I may not do them in this one either, just because you're not going to be able to see them.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, so, Beth was talking about where that green was on the peacock. When I started this, I expected in this little branch there to be 2 colors of green. There's only one. And the reason I expected there to be 2 is because there's 2 greens listed. So I said, where is that other green? And I looked in all the little branches and it's not there. And then under the dove and the piece, there's a little squiggly green line. And
it's like a ribbon or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are 6 stitches of that other green. I mean, why bother? I mean, since I have the thread, I'll put it, but I'm like, 6 stitches? Yeah. Anyway, this isn't the whole flower. It's 2 different colors of this coral color, but there's little black dots. And I think that's to make it look like the centers of this flower. I don't know what type of flower that's supposed to be.
Are they like French knots or something like that?
No.
Or just
It's just a stitch, but it's
yeah.
black. But the overall picture is so pretty, and I'm trying to show it to you without showing you the pattern. It's right here, and it was right next to the Noel one that I just did, and it is on the same basic color as this. It's just not sparkly.
Excuse me.
But even looking at this color picture, it's just little black dots. Anyway, so that's my new start, my finish and my new start. And what am I doing? Okay. And here's my temperature chart. You can see that it's gotten colder.
Finally.
So we had 3 days where it was over 90, I think.
Yeah, it's kinda
91 or something. And then it got cold. And as I said to Naomi, there was one night when the low was 59. Now for us, that's winter. But the highs have been in the 70s. So it's beautiful during the day. Absolutely beautiful. But you'll notice Naomi and I are wearing long sleeves.
It was cold this morning. My house is cold.
So I'm going to start with stories so I can tell you why I only got one thing done and why I did so many scissor fobs. So I had those charms, which, by the way, took me 3 days to find. But it was very difficult for me to look for them because I was wearing the boot and it was hurting my knee to wear the boot. And, but I found them. I had trapped them in between fabric layers from when I showed all the stuff the other day. And I really wanted to make those astronauts sitting on the moon and the star, and the little Christmas ones that are there. And so I was, kind of walking back and forth, and maybe that's why this happened. I don't know. But on Tuesday, I started physical therapy for my foot. And so the therapist worked on my knee, and then he worked on my foot. And I had exercises for my foot, so that might have been why. Who knows? Because all the tendons and muscles and stuff, they're connected, which is why the foot hurts in the first place. Wednesday morning, I was sitting on the couch, and it is my habit, because my knee has been hurting for so long, that I sit with my leg up on the couch. Not straight, but kind of sort of straight. And I moved my leg from here to here, or from here to there. I mean, just a slight movement. And I felt that same pain instantly that I felt in August. And I could not walk. I was in horrible pain. And basically until I went to physical therapy yesterday. Well, it'll be Friday, when you guys see it. And now, after the physical therapy he did, I didn't do any of the exercises. I can actually walk around. But I can't put that boot on, I'm afraid. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying my foot is healed. but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna put the boot on and make it where my knee hurts. So I'll just try doing the physical therapy, I guess. I don't know. So when I came over here to try to sew, because I'm sitting down, right? These chairs here hurt. Even right now, on my it being on my thigh, the front of the chair hurts. And when I'm sewing, I have to get up and go to the ironing board and come back a lot. So I was taking a lot of breaks, and then finally I was just like, I'm done. I'm not going to go back and try to sew anymore. So I made a lot of scissor fobs, because where I was sitting to do the scissor fobs, the chair is much more comfortable. And I think part of that is because I am so short that that I can only make my feet touch the ground if I'm leaning a lot forward, or I'm using the ball of my foot to try to make my leg longer. So that if I'm not up on my toe with my leg, it cuts on the middle of my thigh. So I've just been taking it easy with that. But I have a lot of sewing that has to get done. So I'm going to try, and now my leg is feeling better, I'm going to try to get busy and get a lot more done, because Thanksgiving is coming and I need to get everything put away.
I told you not to talk about Thanksgiving.
It's less than 2 weeks to Thanksgiving. From Thursday it was 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
That means I'm supposed to have this finished in 2 weeks. Thanksgiving was far away until you said that.
No, it wasn't. Whether I say it or not, it's the same amount of time.
I'm talking about beautiful weather this week. One of the board members of the symphony had an event in his. He lives like in it's not a cul-de-sac, but it's like a shared. Like there's a tree-lined drive-in, and then you pull in, and there's like an orchard there, and then there's houses all around like this. It's absolutely beautiful. It was at night though, but so I didn't know what to wear, and I found a sweater. It was like a long sleeve sweater with like a.
Was that picture you sent us of
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had like a bow right here.
I just saw party lights and the trees.
Oh yeah. And and so it was a very thin sweater. When I first got there to set up, I was like, oh no, I'm so hot. But it got pitch black dark and freezing cold. And so they didn't have any coffee either. So but the caterers, one of the things they had was a spinach artichoke dip that was like, you could see it steaming, and I'm like, just give me all of that. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I was thinking of something. What was I thinking of?
Things like that, where
It was
you just go and there's a meal or whatever, and you just eat whatever is on the menu, and you have no control over that. I'm not talking about those where you can say, I want a vegetarian dish or whatever. Some of those that are just, you get what's there. And when I was in Belgium with Kelly, there was some military thing that we had to go to. I mean, he had to wear a suit and not his uniform. I don't know why. And it might have been near Christmas time or near Thanksgiving. I don't remember, but I just remember going to this thing, and the food was fine, but the only thing they had to drink was wine. And I didn't want to drink it. And so I had nothing to drink.
They had
they didn't even have water.
They had a bar, but they had water, and and sparkling water. And so I had that, but then they had, because it was in an orange grove, they had a blood red margarita or something, a blood orange margarita, and I was like, that sounds really good. Can I just have a little sip? Like, I'm not supposed to drink. Plus, I was working, but can I just have a little taste? And it was so good. I took like a few sips and gave it back, but I mean, I didn't give it back. I
Gave the cup back.
Right. I was done. I was done with it, but they were so nice. But it was a really fun event. It was hard work, but good. There was, I can't remember now what I was going to tell you.
When you were talking about the
Crazy
spinach artichoke dip, you know, we we go to Bible study on Tuesday mornings, and you know, the different groups in the study take turns doing breakfast, and it's like the best meal I have all week, because it's all that, you know, there's always yummy stuff there.
That always reminds me in Steel Magnolias, when she says fried chicken made by Christian women.
but so last week we went, this past Tuesday, somebody had brought a spinach soup.
Oh my goodness,
it was so good. Because, you know, you don't.
How do you make that? It was like a cream soup?
Yeah.
She used spinach that she grew in her yard.
Oh,
yeah, it was so good. I mean,
it was a little spicy and it was delicious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need the recipe for that. Because she goes, well, I always just put different things in. I said, that's okay. I just need the base recipe because I do that too.
Oh, wow, that sounds really good.
Yeah, and I...
On things like that, I'm always like, I feel like being a pig and like eating like, and I'm trying not to be a pig. Yeah. So when we were at this party, so what part of the party was we had musicians playing, and you know they gave a concert. It wasn't background music; it was like an actual concert. So everyone had gotten their food and everything, and then they were sitting down, and then the quartet started playing. And so those of us who were working were kind of standing in the back, so we took that opportunity to go get our own plates, and we, you know, standing around eating. And so I got that dip, and they had it there with pita triangles. They had it also. They also had corn chips, which was good with it, and then they had crostinis. So I piled up my plate, and I'm standing there, and I'm standing by a colleague who doesn't. I knew all the music they were playing. So, and I was enjoying it, but my colleagues were pretty. One of my colleagues was pretty new to it, and she was like, "Oh, this is beautiful." So I was like, I don't want to be standing by her, going. So I like walked off all the way to the back, and just like, I'm gonna stand over here and crunch my crunchy food. But it was kind of fun, you know. I enjoy doing events like that. I like that sort of camaraderie and you know, work stuff, and it was enjoyable.
There's a couple of weeks ago that my group did breakfast, and I wanted to take a salad. I don't know if I talked about it here. I call it Bob and Larry salad. But I thought,
tomatoes and cucumbers.
Tomatoes and cucumbers, and I was kind of, you know, worried about it being not very breakfasty, you know. But so like there's usually like an egg dish, like an egg casserole kind of thing, and like sometimes like like sausages or something like that, and once in a while there's something salady, and then there's sweets like. Donut holes or donuts or something like that, or bagel. People cut up bagels into quarters or whatever, and things like that. So I thought, well, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of okay, and you know, and then if people don't want to eat it, that's fine. And it's something pretty common in like Mediterranean dishes. I mean, menus or whatever, because it's cucumber and tomato, feta cheese, black olives, and I think the recipe usually calls for onions, and I usually don't use onions. But
She's a baby. People like onions. Okay, anyway.
But anyway, so it's like I said, it's a fairly common Mediterranean kind of dish, and I learned about it because my friend who works for the State Department now, but he told me about it. He first came across it, I guess, in Hungary, and it was called something like, I don't know if I'm saying the word right, shopska, and so since I don't know if I pronounce the word right, and I certainly don't know how to spell it, I call it Bob and Larry salad. For those of you who've seen VeggieTales, Bob the tomato and Larry the cucumber.
Except that you kill Bob and
yes,
you kill Larry.
I chop them into pieces. but it's really easy to make, really tasty, and the juice from the tomatoes and the cucumbers mixes with the feta cheese and black olives and makes sort of a little saucy kind of, thing. And then like if you use a little bit of salt, or maybe the feta cheese that I like to use has dried tomatoes and basil in it. And so all that, adds up.
Or if you used onion, you'd also get some flavor.
Well, we had a potluck thing at church in Little Rock a long time ago. And so people brought, all kinds of things. I think at that meal I brought Spanish rice. And but somebody had brought a salad like that, a Bob and Larry salad, but it had onions in it. But yeah, so I remember I used to make that salad all the time for.
So did it go well?
Oh yeah,
People liked it.
Meredith came up to me and said that was really. She came up to me on Sunday. She said that was really good. Anytime you want to make that, go ahead.
That's good.
So
that's fun.
Yeah. So and actually, when I used to make it all the time at work in Little Rock when we had potlucks and stuff, and one of the ladies there, she said, "Well, what's that sauce that you put in it? I'm like, I don't put anything in it. It's just the juice from the tomatoes and cucumbers."
Oh,
and
so we had a potluck. It was our failed Halloween potluck because Halloween came on Tuesday, and as you remember, the Diamondbacks were in the World Series.
Oh yeah.
And so many people stayed away from the office. They worked from home because they didn't want to deal with the traffic, which actually wasn't bad because the game started at 4. So by the time you left, I mean, you came in way before anybody else. Everybody came. Lunch was horrible. If you were outside, everyone was running around. But then by 4, they were all in the ballpark. So you just when you left at 5, you're just like, nobody's there. Anyway, but people stayed away. And then there was a huge rehearsal, so the ops team was over there. So, and like probably, I don't know, 3 of us dressed up or whatever. Like it wasn't very Halloween spirity. And so then subsequently, very few people signed up for the potluck or forgot about it or because everything was, so whatever. So, but I had planned to take that green chili chicken stew, which now that I'm thinking about it, I think I want to make tonight. Oh, when I'm going to that stupid concert. But anyway, so I decided to make it. I was like, should I make it? Shouldn't I? I was like, oh no, it doesn't seem like anybody's enthusiastic. Blah 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 blah. When am I going to make it? I'm so busy. Blah 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 blah. So, and because it was on a Tuesday, we had class the night before, and
and rehearsal that night.
That night. And so I was like, I don't know. So I got all this stuff because I thought I was going to make it on Monday night, and I was exhausted, so I didn't. So I got up early and I made it, and then, but I used the canned chicken like you said to make it easier, and I made it in a pot on the stove, and so the house smelled great. And then I threw it in my crock pot and took it to work and plugged it in, and because my crock pot has a warm feature. It's a good thing I did, because otherwise we would have been eating cookies and like one salad. Like it was the most substantial thing that anybody brought for like actual food. And my great accomplishment is that our CEO, who we joke about, like never eats because he's just like, he's just go go go. He sat down and actually had a bowl, and he liked it.
Was it
so
too hot for
good.
anybody?
No, it was pretty. I mean, some people are like, oh, it's spicy, but it was very mild. But I want to make. I just realized like I need to make that again.
It's really
Anymore
easy.
I don't eat hot, and Robert makes himself for his what's it called when you make all the meals ahead of time?
Meal prep.
Meal prep, yeah.
Right. He steals my crock pot and makes himself chicken, but he has never really used a crock pot before, so he did it twice now, and the second time he was better at it. But inevitably he makes it when I'm the one that has to deal with it to turn it off. And he was going to be gone all day, and he turned it on high, and I was just like, you could just put it on low and let it cook longer. But I turned it off when he said, and everything, and the whole house smelled like that chicken, and I would have stolen some from him, except he cooks it with tons of pepperoncinis. and even though it smells absolutely fantastic, I'm like, yeah, but I'm afraid of those pepperoncinis. And yet Beth's stew that she made this last time, I was like, oh, it was so good.
Well,
Yeah, I used mild because I knew I was cooking for.
I was gonna say
everybody.
it's an El Pinto, the restaurant that that we grew up going to, El Pinto recipe, and I think they have a website, elpinto.com or something like that, if you want to look it up. But they have like a little recipe booklet that I think I bought one time that we were out there years ago at the restaurant, and you could they had like.
It's on their website.
Yeah.
If you look up El Pinto Restaurant,
Yeah.
And you click on recipes, you'll find it.
Yeah, and there's, excuse me, I'm not much of a cook, and there are a handful of things that I make, like the Bob and Larry salad, the Spanish rice, the green chili chicken stew, and a few other things. But like I said, if I can make whatever the recipe is, if I can make it, it's easy. Because when I look at something, I'm like, oh, that looks really good. But then look at all those ingredients and all those steps, and no, it's too hard. So the nice thing about this green chili chicken stew is that the hardest thing about it is chopping up potatoes. You do like 3 cups of potatoes, and so I have all of these little things, just to make it easier. But other than like boiling the potatoes or whatever, otherwise it's just a lot of just, you throw this in, you throw that in, you dump this in, and you let it simmer for a few minutes, and it's done. So it's not one of these, all day long, things,
endeavors.
So it's really easy.
And every time that she made it before, we would at the deli go get
chopped up
chicken, and I keep canned chicken in the house. It's one of those things that I wanted in the house all the time. Mm-hmm. Canned white chicken, because I make some enchiladas with it or something, and those are things like weekday meals that are done in half an hour. Mm-hmm. And so I told Beth, why don't you just use that canned chicken? Why, because that way everything's in there already in the cabinet except the potatoes, and so it can be made at any time. Well, the potatoes only have a certain amount of time, but and we couldn't tell the difference in taste. It was fine.
And
if you buy the right kind of chicken,
and
right kind of canned chicken,
and use we use the little in the produce area. There's a little bag of potatoes that are like they're little teeny weeny.
Red
potatoes, and they're the one we used the last couple times it's a mixture of like purple potatoes and little yellow
Yukon Golds.
Yeah, Yukon Gold potatoes and little red potatoes, and they're all very tiny and very easy to
What's nice about those is because I use the little the little Yukons, because it's like it says washed and ready to eat, because they're thin-skinned, so you can eat the skin. And then what I like about the Yukon Gold, I use those a lot in recipes like that, is that they don't mush up. They keep their cook, but they keep their shape and they don't get mushy. And so
And so, like I said, the hardest part is chopping it. And actually, one of those little bags is a little bit over the 3 cups that the recipe calls for. So I just throw the whole bag in.
Yeah.
Chop them up and throw them in, and you just boil them for a little while, and you set them aside, and since the chicken's already cooked, you don't have to like sit there and wait and make sure it's all cooked, and then but you just throw in some flour to coat it,
easy.
And it's really easy. And it's basically just, like I said, just dumping stuff. And so it's very easy to make and very quick, and and like I said,
everybody loved it.
Yeah, and if I can make it, it's easy because I only make easy things.
So you talked about Thanksgiving. I have a friend who's coming from work. Her parents are across the country, so she's kind of all by herself. So I invited her, and she was very happy to come. She's vegetarian, but she's not like super militant about it or anything. She's like, I'll find something to eat. But so I talked to Hannah, who isn't vegetarian but eats mostly veggie most of the time, not all the time. So she has and she's really a great cook, and she has a lot of experience with recipes and stuff like that. So, more than her mother. So anyway, I was like, Hannah, what do I make my friend who's vegetarian? So she found me this, it looks really good. It's a lentil loaf. You put the lentils in a food processor, and then with spices and all these other things, you cook it in a loaf pan, and then you let it cool and slice it, and then you can heat it right before you serve it. So I'm going to make it ahead of time. And then there's like a cucumber something sauce that you put over top it. So I thought that would be nice because that'll give her protein, and we can serve that alongside the turkey.
You know what I decided to make for the dessert? What's his name? The guy on I started watching on YouTube, and then also on TikTok, and then also on YouTube.
Dylan Hollis?
Yeah. He did a pumpkin cake thing with graham crackers, a whole box of graham crackers crushed, and a thing of pumpkin, and a couple of other things like a few eggs and floof powder or whatever.
He's so great.
And I was like, I need to make that, because you always make great pumpkin pies, and I might make a pumpkin pie for here. I bought enough pumpkin to do it. Pro
tip. I already bought my crusts, my Pillsbury crusts. Because
you got to get them early.
They're always gone, and I saw them there, and I was like, 4. I should have bought more. I'm going to the store today. Maybe if there's more, I'll get some more. But
yeah, I already have some. But
I'm
you've
making
got
Baba Larry salad
and cheesecake.
Yes.
I always make the mashed potatoes and the stuffing, because Naomi always makes the turkey, and that's harder.
And Rachel's bringing, I think, a couple of sides. I think she's still deciding.
Yeah.
But sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Oh no. So Thursday night, Rachel and Mark and Eli and I went out with their cousin and his wife, who was in town. And we went to this great little restaurant called Farm and Craft in Scottsdale. And it was really good. I had salmon ramen. And it wasn't like traditional ramen, but it was good. It was really good. It had a huge piece of salmon in it. And like a mushroom broth. It was really good. Rachel had like chicken lettuce wraps. And they looked delicious. And they were on this beautiful butter lettuce, I think it was, that they had there. And Mark, what did Mark have? Oh, Mark and Eli had flatbreads, and they were really good. And I don't know, it was just a really nice night. We sat outside, and I was wearing a sweater, but it had like a very low neck, and so it was freezing. And I'm like, I am the woman with a million shawls. Did I bring a shawl? No. So great. But No, but it was a really nice time. But the reason I thought of it is because I got to pull up the picture because there was it was really well decorated, and it was like basically like the whole restaurant's sides were out, like they had inside seating, but the whole thing, like there was just open walls to their outside seating, and we were outside, and it wasn't too bad, but it was chilly. But they had a big sign on their wall that said, "All I want is food and affection." And I'm like, that is a cross stitch pattern right there.
Yeah. I love at El Pinto that fire that they have.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's so
Here's a picture
beautiful.
of the salmon ramen.
Oh, yeah.
So good. But though that was fun Thursday night. It was fun to see Rachel and go out and see their cousin and his wife. And oh, here's a bead. This is not mine. I don't know where that came from.
No.
It's rolling around the table. But
I had a whole bunch of stuff on the table, beads and charms and
speaking of Thanksgiving, I have to go grocery shopping today, so I don't have a turkey yet, so that's the problem.
uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what happened? It was like the beginning of November, and all of a sudden it's not. So that's how my life is going. And tonight we have a concert we're going to. It's just a fun pops concert with like 1920s, 30s, and 40s kind of songs.
It's something about prohibition, that, that kind of music. And I thought, when I was just looking idly at the brochure, what do you call it? Program. Because I have season tickets for the classical concerts. And so I was looking at the program about, this upcoming pops concert, and I thought, I like that song. I like that song. I like that song. I was like,
And they're going to have like, we have like a photo op in the, I'll put a picture here of the photo op in the hall. It's like,
what songs are you talking about?
It's like prohibition, like putting on the Ritz and all different, like Moulin Rouge, Boardwalk Empire, like that.
Oh my goodness, I love
stuff.
that kind of music.
And so,
I watch a lot of black and white movies.
Yeah, yeah. And so they're gonna there's going to be a screen over the stage with like vintage imagery, and then the singers and the orchestra, and then in the lobby there's going to be a jazz trio, and then there. Our executive assistant is like huge on retro, like she doesn't own a modern thing basically, and so they approached her to provide like a little set. So we have this photo op. Here's a picture of it, and it's all her stuff, like vintage chairs and and she bought a backdrop. That's a modern thing, but. So that you can wear your flapper dress. And then she brought like an entire closet full of flapper dresses, of all these retro dresses for all the girls in the office to try on. I did not try one. I am refraining. They're like, aren't you going to dress up? I'm like, no, I can't do it. They're so cute. So they were all doing this to try on. And
when you were talking about the backdrop, it reminded me of one of the videos I watch of courts. One of the judges, they prefer not to have the children, not to talk to them at all. And of course, if they do, they don't do it on YouTube. But anybody who's done Zoom meetings knows that you can change your background because you may not want them to see what's behind you, like if you have a messy house like mine. And so you can, on these Zoom things, change your background. And she had to talk to the child, and she said, I have a magic trick. And she got up and went like this, and the background changed. And then she got up and went like this, and it went back. And the kid was so happy. She just did it again for I don't think maybe he had it on again. Maybe he was on there for a second. So I was just like, that is
It's
so,
a clever way to do it.
because she wanted to put him at ease so that he would not be afraid to talk to her, you know, and it must be so hard for all these judges that have to talk to kids whose parents are fighting, you know,
Or
and
if they're gone through horrible things.
Yeah.
I know, I'm sure I mentioned it, but I adopted my son from foster care, and the agency that I adopted him from, they would have twice yearly. They would have retreats for us. Most of the people, all of the people with that company, I'm not saying it right. All the people that had adopted through that agency adopted from foster care. And so twice yearly they would have retreats for us to help us understand certain things. Mm-hmm. Like, don't be worrying about your child's grades, because until they know they're safe, they're not gonna, they don't care. They, you know, the psyche of the mind is survival.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna get grades until they know they don't have to wonder where the next meal is coming from, or something like that. And you know, art therapy for kids who've have things that they have to deal with, and unfortunately, most children coming from foster care, either they were taken away from their parents for a very horrible situation, or things happened to them in foster care, because people are evil sometimes. You know, they have residual issues, and so I remember all the kids, we would bring our kids, and all the kids were so happy to be able to play with each other, because nobody was going to ask anybody about anything about their family, anything about being adopted, anything about, you know, who's your mom and dad, because because they all have the same kind of thing, and they're like, they don't want to talk about it, they just want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have to get ready to go.
Yes.
I have to go do some grocery shopping and stuff, and then I got to be at the hall early tonight to work, and then enjoy the concert after. And so I'm gonna have to wrap up.
I'm still puzzling about what to wear because
You know, wear your flapper dress?
no.
Okay.
Because it's so cold in that hall. You know, when I went to the last concert, I wore warmish pants, but my top was pretty thin, and I took my sweater, and the whole first half of the concert, I was like, huddling in my sweater. I was so cold, just like almost immediately, because I don't know if it's where I sit that has a draft or whatever. But yeah, I was really cold. I was like huddling under my blanket. Yeah, I mean my sweater.
nails all busted up.
And I was gonna say I was jealous of that blanket that you have for Harkins. You know, like, that's what I need. I need a blanket.
A symphony blanket.
So.
Well, I'm gonna go. We're gonna go. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you all have happy Thanksgiving preparation weeks ahead.
Yes.
And we will see you next time when Thanksgiving will be even closer. And I'll tell you whether or not my unrealistic vision of finishing this shawl, it's gonna happen. But thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.